All right, before we go for a drive, I just want to go over the interior just for a fast second. Very luxurious. You have the nice JBL that it comes with. These things are fully decked out for the money. Honestly, the amount of tech and performance that you get for the money that you spend on these is really, really impressive. It does have power folding mirrors, which is pretty sweet. I've done a little beamer coating in here. I'll cover that in future videos, but basically the car is going to default in sport mode, which is nice. Has a nice roar when it comes to life. I love that about this. It's got this nice little pop when it comes to life. Really intuitive screen here. It's a little complex. For me, coming from like a Mustang, this is like a nightmare. But over the past couple of days, I've really gotten the hang of how everything works. It does have wireless CarPlay, which is nice. You do have a heads-up display as well. A nice analog and digital cluster here. Very BMW everything. Okay, so you got your iDrive system. Here's all your controls down here for sport mode. And then I've also got this thing turned off as well. That's your auto start stop, which I hate. I hacked into the ECU, if you will, with the beamer code. Again, we'll cover that in future videos. And you got the nice carbon here. So everything is very luxurious. So very nice seats. They are heated, but not cooled. It's a very classic BMW interior in here. Not a bad thing. Very luxurious. Not, dare I say, too exotic. It's not as exotic looking as like what you might grasp from the outside, the exterior. So here we go. We're gonna go for our first drive. Not mine, but yours with me on camera. So let's get fired up. It is hot, but we have a lot to talk about. So very far departure away from American Muscle, like you've come to know me on the channel. But this is gonna be a whole new story, a whole new adventure. Yes, it has a lot of BMW parts, but people don't know the story behind it. What Toyota did was they took that existing BMW catalog, brought it back to Japan, and then finessed and tuned differently than like the Z4. It's not just a one-for-one copycat car. Suspension, different engine and transmission tuning, and some of the internals into this B58 engine are actually forged and built up a little bit different as well to Toyota specs. So a lot of guys don't know that, but anyway, I digress. Let's put it in drive. Let's get started. Give her some gas. That was well over 60 miles an hour, just a couple of seconds. This thing is an animal. This thing is a riot. Get a nice little pop in between shifts. This thing is crazy. Love the noise. Locks up the freaking seatbelt. There's a lot of tech, a lot of fancy stuff in this car. It's got a heads-up display, kind of like you'd see in like some of the newer Camaros and the Corvettes and some other play. Maybe the S650 2024 Mustang will fix some of this stuff and add a little bit more tech back into the car, but we're not talking about that one in today's video. It's all about this Toyota Supra. Wanted something a little bit different, something that was still lightning fast, but something that also had heritage. Even though it's got its BMW parts, still believe that it's holding on to the legacy that it came up to be from the 1970s. You know, the Mark 1s all the way through the 4s. It would have been sick, though, to have a 2JZ and this, like a modernized 2JZ. It's got a iron block, aluminum heads. It was like way overbuilt for what it was. It had factory sequential turbochargers, and it was just a monster of an engine. You could throw gobs of boost at that, and it had like no ceiling. I mean, you couldn't blow it up. It was like indestructible. Now the B58 is really good too. This being a 22, tuning is going to be tricky. We'll discuss that in future videos, how I plan to go around that. But as far as power and everything, we've got a bunch of stuff already in the garage. Get ready if you are into this kind of car and you want to see a lot of mods. We're going to be doing that. I mean, you guys, my OGs out there watching this channel, you guys know we're not going to leave well enough alone. We are going to mod this car and we're going to have fun with it. We're going to get up here, we're going to do some twists and turns, because I think that is one of the reasons you also want to buy this car. It's fast. You hear those shifts? It is properly quick. Properly quick. This to me feels very reminiscent of a, let's say, an 18 Mustang GT full bolt-on E85, making about 500 wheel. This feels like that to me a little bit, close to it in stock form. So when we turn this up, when we throw more boost at it, it's just going to get even more crazy. But we got some fast sweeping turns up here. Let's dig in. And it's glued. had the Mach 1, and we are way faster through these turns than I was with that car. Tire squeal a little bit? Yes. So this is quick, very fast car. I want to say I can go a lot faster through there. Not that the Mach 1 and like the GT350s and Shelbys won't do it. I think it's a confidence thing. This is a lighter car, and it's got a lot more turn in. It's got a lot of grip. There's like there's less oversteer in this car compared to the other, and I'll do a detailed discussion of how I feel about this car compared to that Mach 1 that I came from. I don't know how they'll compare on track, like a road course, but on the street, I get more confidence out of this. It's lighter weight, it's lower to the ground, and this is still on the stock 255 front, 275 width rear Michelin Pilot Super Sport. Not even the 4S and not even anything wide. The Mach 1 had 305s in the front and 315 rear. This has a lot less meat, and I'm able to go through those turns faster with more confidence. All right, let's go through these turns again. Down to speed limit. This thing is a rocket ship. There's not really any jerkiness of the car. It's just got very flat. It's controlled, very lightweight, like a go-kart. This feels more like a go-kart to me than anything else that I've driven, especially for this price point. It's really impressive. This is, dare I say, like Porsche kind of feeling, how flat and controlled it is. With the Mustang, it'll do it, but you do feel the weight. With this, not so much. This, not so much. So we're going to run into traffic right up here, so we got to slow it down. But it's very controlled. I really like the transmission tuning in sport mode. I'm a big fan so far, and with the 10R80, I just, like I said, I wasn't. It's really good for like a straight line stuff, but like as a car that you can live with, I feel like this transmission will make you a little bit happier, I think. It certainly has me. But yeah, really flat, really quiet ride. It does have some audible exhaust note coming through the speakers, which you can turn off, and I probably will. But it doesn't sound bad. It kind of sounds Ferrari-ish, and it kind of gives a visceral experience to a somewhat quiet vehicle, because everything is so EPA emissions and whatever compliant these days. The big government just wants to ruin all the fun. It's better than being quiet. It's better than not hearing nothing at all, is what I'm trying to say. We're not going to put exhaust on this and fix that completely, and we'll go from there. Quick. This thing is fast. In the past week of ownership, we have put almost 700 miles on it, so driving it quite a bit, and it has grabbed far more attention in those 7 days than anything else that I've ever owned, period, not whatsoever. I know the internet is a dangerous place and everybody has their comments, but I'm telling you, in a real life, people love this car. It's something that you just don't see very often. There's people hanging outside of their cars trying to like wave and get my attention and stuff. So kind of a short video, but I didn't want to beat to death videos that have already been done, you know, by press coverage and so on and so forth over the past couple of years. We know that it shares BMW parts. Who cares, honestly? I mean, there's been collaborations with vehicles all throughout history. I get the upset, but I've never owned a Supra before, so this is, it doesn't affect me, if that makes any sense. It doesn't hurt my feelings whatsoever that we have a B58 engine in this thing. I think it's still a robust and stout engine, and we're going to explore its power limits. And I guess we'll just leave it at that and pick up another video in here in a couple of days. So I'll see you then for our first mods to our new Toyota Supra. I appreciate you watching. God bless all of you. Goodbye.